What's up, everybody? This is Super Mike 2164. We come in here on the B1 Math, Science, and History channel. We're going to go over some Martin Luther King history a little bit. Yep. Yeah. See, I'm noticing a pattern here. What's going on? What's going on, guys? Press the thumbs up button. Make sure you guys, what's up? Nah, we gonna deal with this because this right here is our foundation. See, a lot of us don't understand. What's up, Leroy? That's why me and you've been talking about this lately. See, we can't fall for tricks nowadays. You know, you tell us one bad thing about somebody, and we throw the whole thing in the garbage. That trick ain't gonna run nowadays because see, the thing is, that's how integration works. That's actually how integration worked. You know, black people knew we were working hard to do something better for ourselves, and but we knew we weren't perfect. You know, our we had books, but our books wasn't as clean. The white people's school looked it better. You know, they just looked like they had it going on, and we looked like we were so messed up. So we wanted to, integrate. We just had these dreams of, hugging up, being friends, no longer being enemies. And, we just dreamed of a day that racism was over. Okay. And so we were willing to trade our entire economy, all of the struggles, all of our history. We were literally willing to trade the very future generations of our people, our education, our finances, our farmland, all of that, so we could be friends with white people. And just because we thought they were superior, we thought what they had was superior to what we had. Exactly. So I think hopefully nowadays enough of us, of course, we got still a lot of people still think like this. A lot of us still live in la la land. But hopefully enough of us actually understand that, our historical folks are valuable. You see how hard they defend Columbus? Because we expose actual truths that were written by him. This man did not discover what we were told he discovered. He didn't discover the United States of America. He enslaved people. Now, what else? I mean, what did he do? Columbus. We were told that 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue, and he, discovered America, right? He discovered these Indians. I mean, he did all of that stuff for white people. And really, he had, the Moors with him. He had the Moors of Spain with him to guide him. But we didn't hear anything about the Moors of Spain till way later. So the point is, okay, they're mad at us. They want to, find something and chop down some of our key historical figures. Martin Luther King. So we have a situation where the white people are actually kind of mad that Martin Luther King, they feel that they've made a mistake. they uplifted Martin Luther King. Their parents uplifted Martin Luther King because they thought that it would pacify us. And because they were so in control of the history, for a while they could keep us looking at Martin Luther King the way they wanted us to see him. But we found and discovered the other side of Martin Luther King, the fact that he did push for reparations. He pushed for money for black people. He did not want to throw away our economy. He did realize later that, the integration may not have been the smartest way. He was actually a critic of the United States policy, which is what we have today. The sellout so-called black leadership today, this is what they won't do. They will not criticize the nation, the country. This is what Martin Luther King was doing.
God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems that I can hear God saying to America, you are too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.
Now, the thing is, white people don't like that. But we see that the words of Martin Luther King is actually coming true. And they're mad. Now, they say, okay, Martin Luther King was a Mason. Pretty much all these black people, if you look in the history back then, all the black people were a part of those Prince Hall Masons. And a lot of us don't understand that all Masons are not created equally. That's something that we all got to look into. There's a Shriners Mason and there's a Prince Hall Black Mason. They keep these things separate. They don't go to the same hall because the white people actually have the Masonic stuff that's running things. The black people just discovered it and they just wanted to start a club for themselves. And pretty much the Prince Hall Mason is basically a club, that just calls themselves the same thing they found out the white people were calling themselves. We were trying to just follow white people because we thought obviously they're doing something better than us because they got us enslaved. You see, that's what that was. But the thing is, if we allow them to falsely, now keep in mind, I say falsely, there is no truth that you can tell and present about Martin Luther King, even if it's bad. If somebody presents any kind of evidence that Martin Luther King cheated on his wife, Coretta, if somebody you can let all of that out. It still will not destroy the good legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King, because he did so much good. The good stuff that he did, it was so much that even if you were able to find out that he did something negative like cheat on his wife or whatever, you could bring that truth out, present it. You can say that, oh, Martin Luther King, so even if you, which I doubt, but me and you talked about this, Leroy, that he supported Planned Parenthood. If you found that out, it still would not be enough to destroy the good legacy, the good part of what Dr. Martin Luther King did. Because he did so much good stuff that we have on record. But for some reason, we got a white agenda. These people really, really want to destroy the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King. They want to use COINTELPRO documents to do that. This man here. So not only do we have this guy throwing this crap on Twitter. It's a lie. Okay, so Pedro Gonzalez. These are Hispanics. Okay, and I think it was the Immigration Act of 1965. Right off the heels of the Civil Rights, Act. This was the work uh, folks like Dr. Martin Luther King and all the civil rights people worked to do. They sat up there with LBJ, and this is a different group, but yeah, these guys, they sat up there bringing these folks in here. This was a mistake. So yeah, you can throw that on Martin Luther King because he helped bring this type of people in here. So these type of same people that he brought in here, they can trash and try to trash his name. The point is, it's a lie though. We keep asking these people who said that MLK cheated on his wife. Now this man says MLK cheated on his wife with 40 women. So now they're trying to do the Bill Cosby switcheroo thing. This is Pedro. Okay, Pedro is coming out here saying this. And so 40 women. And now Pedro is saying he may. Pedro knows more than us. Pedro is, Martin Luther King. He knows more than us, Pedro does. Pedro cares about black stuff. I mean, let's look. Are we supposed to be looking all into Pedro's thing and talking negatively about his folks? But, El Chapo and all whatever they got going on down there with those banana republics. But anyway, may have fathered a child. Where is this child? Where are these 40 women? You see, they just say stuff. Then a child with a mistress. Okay. Even if you brought a child out that Martin Luther King fathered with a mistress, that will not destroy the good of his legacy. Bring the stuff out. Let the truth be out. Nobody's perfect, whatever. But we can't allow lies to just float out there. Nobody else would tolerate that with us. They don't. They don't even tolerate us speaking the truth. They want to kill us. We speak the truth. They're just mad because we expose the truth about their people. Okay. So now then the real issue. He was funded by communists. Okay. Bring the communist out. I don't know. Maybe he was. Maybe he wasn't. I'm sure he gave some communists probably did give him some money. He gonna take it. But I know he was funded by people in the street. They have funds. They raise funds for like this. Gloria Richardson. That's Gloria Richardson. We're gonna talk about her a little bit later. But the thing is, they want to take Martin Luther King out now because we're talking reparations. And he's the one that said we're coming to get our check. So they need to get Martin Luther King up out of here now because they know they owe. And these little Hispanics, really, they don't want black folks to get reparations at all. And they have no real reason to, but they just don't want us to have it. That's just the bottom line. So, let's go through this here. I just want to go through some of this here, this lie. We'll go through a little bit of it, and I want to highlight a couple of other issues, and then we'll close it out real quick. But I want to document this. Pedro's lying. We asked this man, where are you getting this information from? This guy, he got it from, he's getting it from, he says let's see where he gets it from. All right, so much of what much of what I wrote in the article above draws from the work of two left-wing scholars, David Garrow, that's a Bernie Sanders supporter. He hates Dr. King now. They're trying to get rid of Dr. King now because Dr. King said, let's get the black people reparations. And Murray Friedman. So all the white people now, they hate Martin Luther King now. They want to get rid of this holiday. They see that we're taking back Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King is black again. And the white man doesn't like that. So what I'm gonna do here, I want to show. Let's see if I can find this here. Let's see who David Farrell is. He wrote a Martin Luther King biography. All right, he's just making up stuff. Hold on. All right, let's see. Hold on, guys. Hold on for a second. I'm looking through some documents. I'm trying to see which one I'm going to present to everybody. I just want to see here. Hold on a second. Okay, it's David Garrow. I don't know why I said that. Sorry. Yeah, there it is. The Guardians. Let's look at this here. All right, so let's look at. I think I'll share this here real quick, guys. I want to go through some of this here. So this is one of the guys that this liar quotes that he got his information from. Murray Friedman. Fredman. Let's check this guy out. It sounds like a Jew. The creation and collapse of the Black Jewish Alliance. Oh, let's see. Now he's mad. Oh, look at this. This Murray Friedman is mad at Martin Luther King, but he's mad at black people. Okay, let's look at that. We'll try that one first. Hold on. We're gonna go through a little bit of this because y'all kind of working with me when I go through some of this research. Because the point is, it's like we need to understand like where is this coming from? Actually, no, I don't want that there. We'll do it here. Tab. All right. All right. So let's look at some of this here. No, because I want to document some of this because, guys, the thing is, like I said, press the thumbs up, share it, because regardless of what we can factually find. Oh yeah, yeah. Hold on. Let me drop this link a little bit. I just figured y'all would be asleep, and I just wanted to put this down and document it. Oh, you know what? I got my backup YouTube channel, but this is my science YouTube channel. Let me bring this over here on the Facebook. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Oh no, I'm looking at a thing. Hold on a second. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Let me drop this link. Yeah, but I want to put some of this here. So I'm gonna drop the link. So Leroy, if you want to come up, you can. Just come on up. Yeah, because we got a lot of stuff. I mean, this is something that's important, and we got to play defense. This is literally like a game. So I'm gonna share this. Hold on a second. Let's take that off. Let's share screen. All right, so here it is. So let's look at some of David Garrow found some FBI documents alleging, see, this is allegations, alleging King stood by during a rape. But some scholars question whether to trust records created as part of a smear campaign. Come on, guys. Why in heck would we trust records created as part of a smear campaign? It's a smear campaign. So Jennifer Schlesinger. So this is another Jewish woman, person. So when David Garrow, Pulitzer Prize winning biographer of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, sat down last spring to dig through the trove of previously unreleased government documents, records, it was business as usual for a researcher. Okay, whatever. We don't know if it was business. Whatever agenda he had was in his mind is not being said. So Mr. Garrow found some factoids. Okay, a factoid is not a fact. It's a piece of something that might be true. Plenty about the Federal Bureau of Investigation's infamous surveillance of Dr. King, and most controversial about alleged sexual misconduct by the civil rights leader. Now, keep in mind, this is what's called the COINTELPRO. The COINTELPRO program is a lying smear campaign against black leadership to decapitate the leadership that was developing in black America, to try to develop our people into something that can be respected. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah. Whenever, if you ever feel like, that's cool. So I'm just going through this real quick. And like I said, this is the point. There's an objective. The enemy is willing to take a loss because they see that Dr. King is not functioning as a pacifier for us anymore. So I'm going to play something here that Malcolm X said. Now, Malcolm X lived during that time, okay? And this was during the time of the March on Washington and the I Have a Dream speech and that kind of thing. So let's see if I can find this here. I want to play this. This is Malcolm X talk about the Negro Revolution.
It's like Novocaine suffered peacefully.
Okay, so that's the actual perfect point that I wanted to show. So Dr. King was formulated by the government to pacify us.
And do the same thing to you in the street. When he gonna want to put knots on your head and take advantage of you and don't have to be afraid of you fighting back. To keep you from fighting back, he get these old religious Uncle Toms to teach you and me. They're just like Novocaine, suffer peacefully. Don't stop suffering, just suffer peacefully. As Reverend Cleave pointed out, let your blood flow in the streets. This is a shame. And you know he's a Christian preacher. If it's a shame to him, you know what it is to me. There's nothing in our book, the Quran, as you call it, Quran, teaches us to suffer peacefully. Our religion teaches us to be intelligent, be peaceful, be courteous, obey the law, respect everyone. But if someone puts his hand on you, send them to the cemetery.
So we see that Malcolm X Now the people today are kind of identifying more with that edge of Malcolm X. Martin Luther King was presented to us like that, but Martin Luther King is not like that. Now people are uncovering the speeches that Martin Luther King was talking about. We're going to get our check. We not where he was helping black people get uh, money from unfair contracts. You know, he was just going around doing a lot of stuff to develop black people. So people realize that Martin Luther King, regardless to whatever faults that can be factually found. Now, keep in mind, anybody who smears Martin Luther King, we have to challenge him. These people, we owe Dr. King to challenge that person, factually present the information. I have no problem accepting a factual, and don't bring me something from the enemy that we know is intentionally developed. Just the COINTELPRO, it's something that you look at and see. That's another thing. Some of our people are dumb now. We don't even know how to deal with facts. And what's going on, Leroy? Hold on.
What's happening?
Yeah, turn me down real quick. Let me go through this real quick. Yeah, but
Okay, for sure.
yeah. So a lot of our people don't even understand that it's time. You have to go through factual uh, research in a way where is you're making sure that you understand what's actually being presented, the facts, and you're getting them in it's an order of operations. It's just like with algebra. You can't just do the operations any way you want to do them. If you see a one plus a three there, and you see a parenthesis, but the plus is on the other side of the parenthesis, and you got to do it and it's an exponent up there. You can't do that in any order. You got to make sure that you're doing your research in the proper order. So if you're looking at something like COINTELPRO records, you need to first understand what the purpose of these records are. So these records are presented by the Federal Bureau of Investigation. This guy here, J. Edgar Hoover. Now we're talking about Mason. There you go. That is the kind of Mason that you need to watch out for. That kind of Mason right there, you see that sword on top of his head? He got a secret that he got to keep quiet, otherwise somebody gonna chop his head off. He had to study for 35 years, 30 to 35 years to be able to put that fez on his head, because that fez does not belong to them. This is a history here. It's a real history, and it's a real secret thing. So anybody that's half knowing it, you just know that you ain't gonna get it all right, because it's supposed to be secret and it's supposed to be confusing you, because that's where they came up with it, to confuse you if you don't know the details of it. So, I mean, you can know about it, but you just know within yourself, unless you're taught what each symbol mean, you don't know what you ain't looking at it right. I'll say it that way. But that's one of the things that we do know, that those white people, they have to study before they can call a Shriner. They have to study, and this is for white people. If you notice, the Black Mason don't do this because it's not for them. This is a secret that these white Masons keep, and that's why they give them power, money, and rulership. Okay, the Black Mason, he can wear his Mason stuff on his car. He can have a ring. He can make a T-shirt, tell everybody he a Mason. Hey y'all, I'm a Mason. Shit, I'm a Mason. I'm a Mason. And this thing is supposed to be kept secret. So he ain't got the right type of Mason stuff. So we just need to understand a few things. But yeah, like with the key point, before I'm gonna let you come through, Leroy. The key point that I want to make is with Martin Luther King, this man here, J. Edgar Hoover, this gay Mason. Now we can factually say he was a gay man. He was gay. Okay. This man here could not stand Martin Luther King. And we even have it on government records, which I will show just a little bit, that he created this. He made this stuff up, a lot of this stuff, and put it on Martin Luther King to embarrass him. So in hopes that Martin Luther King would kill himself. Now, if you show me some records that this man wrote for me to look at and hate Martin, his intention was for me to hate Martin Luther King. Now, if I'm going to listen to him and do what he say and hate Martin Luther King, I'm not just going to take it on his word or his little agent's word. I need to see the women. I need to see the baby. I need to see the rape victim. Somebody, we need some other folks. We need more people. you ain't gonna prove nothing to me just off of J. Edgar Hoover word like that. Now you can prove that he said it. That's proof, but you can't prove that it was true unless you get more people. And so that's what's up, Leroy. Go ahead, bro. What are you thinking?
Man,
Yeah, come on.
Mike. I'm at work at the same time, but so I'm gonna be
Okay.
hitting the mute in and out. But
Oh yeah.
man, I mean, absolutely, it's gonna take more than just. You know what? You wouldn't be a very good press secretary for the current administration because
No.
you want to know actually what happened. Where when Corinne Jean Pierre was asked about the jab and its effectiveness or the next variant, whatever the conversation was, her answer
Right.
was, well, the CDC told us. And when she was, questioned more about it, she had this same look. And there was another government official who was like, yeah, I mean, look, they told us. Like, that's the evidence. That's not
Yeah.
the evidence. That's not the proof. That's just what you've been told. Where is the actual proof? And I get that part. And my current view of King is not based on J. Edgar Hoover, as you mentioned before. The things that we find out about
Right.
uh, Planned Parenthood, and we know how the Negro Project was started, and that her efforts were to use preachers to quell any type of rebellion that may have arisen in our community.
Right.
It's tough, man. It's
No, no.
tough. I mean, I
No,
don't,
it
I
can't be
don't,
tough
I
because
don't like that
the
statue.
truth. No, but the truth shouldn't be tough. You presented a true. I looked into what you said, and it on the right track. So he did deal with Planned Parenthood. He did deal with them. So does you see what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
there's
I mean,
me. I'm not afraid of any truth. It doesn't. Truth doesn't do anything but verify what is the correct message. I don't, you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. If they're telling us, if they're wanting to totally white see, like even if he was all into the Planned Parenthood thing, which what you said, yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, that was bad timing, but he was dead and his wife went in here. Well, he wasn't dead, but he did something else and his wife accepted the award or something like that. It was something.
yeah,
Either I
yeah.
think he was dead because it was 19. I don't know. Anyway, I forgot
No,
exactly.
no. I mean,
His
from what
wife.
I had heard, he wasn't dead. He sent her there with a speech, and
Okay.
I haven't gotten to the research to find out what the speech said, but I would think that would mean he was alive. But
Yeah, yeah, he
I
was
mean, the
there.
reason I said it's tough is because I mean we know the things that we're taught from the outset about Dr. King. You know, now with these type conversations, the people who are hearing about King for the first time now may have a different kind of view. So that's why I said it's tough for me. Not that I'm not trying to follow the process. It's just, for lack of a better term, it's complicated. I mean, not that I am shying away from what it actually is. It's just it's complex, it's complicated, and it's conflicting because finding this out about Planned Parenthood or whatever it was called, whether they was just in the sterilization or outright elimination,
Hmm.
seeing that statue in Boston is a slap in the face, just like the statue in DC when they got the quote wrong. I mean,
Right.
it's all these what they call them, microaggressions. Maybe it's that. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I mean, the thing is, like I said before, the thing is that when you see an enemy, this is several of them too. Now I'm looking at it. They are now agreeing that Martin Luther King needs to be taken out. So
but
J. Edgar Hoover,
yeah,
my freedmen, the Jewish people, all of
expect
them,
it.
they're like, you know what? We need to get rid of Martin Luther King. He is not worthy anymore. So now you got to realize, like, they don't want us to get what we deserve of good.
Oh, absolutely not.
So now that we have, many of us have seen, like, okay, yeah, Martin Luther King wasn't perfect. Now, even with the Planned Parenthood thing, that's the truth, and that's
What's up?
okay. It is what it is.
Okay,
And but the thing is, it's like my thing is, it's like,
I put on mute. What's up?
yeah. So I'm gonna let you. Yeah, I'll put you on mute there. But yeah, my thing is with the Planned Parenthood, it's okay. But the point is, you know, he wanted us to get something better. And right now we're seeing that, people who used to write as if they were authority on Martin Luther King, right? Now they starting to big up what J. Edgar Hoover said.
Yeah, see, that's a mistake.
Well, no, this is what they're
Jay,
doing on purpose. I know what it is because, so like I said before, this is Martin Luther King, Luther. So David Farrell, okay, found FBI documents alleging King stood by a rape. Now, that's totally new. I never heard that one before.
in the studio. I mean, you know what? But you have heard that they I think it was Edgar who said that we have to prevent the rise of Black Messiah and
Yeah,
all this.
yeah.
And the reason I said it's a mistake, when I said that, I was speaking of, just going with J. Edgar Hoover because of what I just said and the fact that, man, he's a self-hating black man. I'm just gonna go on and say it and get it out
Talking
of the
about
way.
J. Edgar Hoover.
Yeah, yes, yes. He is one of our turncoats.
Well,
And I mean, we
well,
don't we
J.
don't
Edgar,
necessarily have docu. Go ahead.
J. Edgar Hoover. I know that he had a black grandmother or
Boom,
something
there
like
it
that.
is. That's it. It's over.
But
He
I know that's what they say, but he ain't black because he was able to. To me, I mean, I understand that's what they were talking about with this their rule or whatever. But if you can go through your life and operate as a white person, and that's what you identify, everybody knows and treats you as a white person, then that's what you are.
yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah. I mean, I get that, but
because you know why? You know why I say that though? And
wow,
I'm
what's up?
telling you because race is not actually scientific. Because there's a white guy right now. They're talking about now that black folks are talking about reparations. The reparations money is being talked about. Do you know how many white people talking about they are descendants of slaves?
I
They
mean,
have
look.
Henry Louis Gates, but they can't get reparations though. that's what they're doing that for. They're saying that they're descendants of slaves
So they
because
can
they
get a
want,
check.
yes, they want access. It's not about them trying to be black because they didn't go through the black experience. You see what I'm saying?
Oh no.
Yeah, they're saying that so that they can get a check. That's like the $5 Indian situation. See, that's what I'm saying. Like when there's money and resources popping up, this now we got to get a little more strategic because our debate. See now, like a little while ago, like on Sinetta and them and black folks, we could get online, we can just debate, and you know it's all good, man. It don't matter. You take your truth, and I'll take my truth. But now there's starting to be money involved. Things are strategy. The debates are very important. It's very important that we, actually pay attention to information because as because this is what's happening. That's how you know that when you see a lot of white people starting to say, "Oh, we're like Henry Louis Gates did this his little genealogy thing." You know him? You know what I'm talking about? Gates. You know which guy I'm talking about? Oh, you on mute. Yeah, but anyway, Henry Louis Gates did a genealogy
Yeah, I
thing.
do. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I do. Henry
yeah,
Louis Gates, the guy who Obama invited to copy him to the White House to have a beer because he was
exactly.
his neighbor thought he was his neighbor what thought he was not the person that belonged in his home.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, but this guy, he just recently did a genealogy on a white guy, and the white guy acts so surprised that his grandfather was half white, so he has like 7% black in him or something. He was like acting all funny, so he's a descendant of slaves, and he literally said that he's a descendant of slaves, which is the ADOS talking points, right? You know that, right? ADOS people. So what that's telling you, that's signaling that they're going after that money. Anytime they start using certain combinations of words, that those are signals. And so that's letting us know if we understand that it's time for us to defend that spot. You can't get access to reparations just because you're a descendant of slaves. You have to be a black descendant of slaves. And so that's why it's important now that we, like J. Edgar Hoover, true enough, let's say his grandmama was a black person, but he ain't. And he, like you said, he hated that black side of himself. And I'm gonna do something too else on this. Later on, I'll do it. Uh, E. Franklin Fraser. He was showing there's a whole subset of these. There was a whole slaveholding portion of them rejects that came from Haiti that was kicked out of Haiti, but they were mulattoes and black. They were black, but they were like mixed with whites, and they thought they was better than everybody else, and they were slaveholding. So now we get all these narratives talking about all these black people they held slaves and this was horrible. There was so many blacks that held slaves. But at those times, they weren't called black. They were called mulattoes. They were called better, and they were like colored. They were literally called people of color at that time.
Oh yeah,
That's
that
where,
term goes way back.
but that's the people of color terminology. It goes to these self-hating mixed black folks, mixed white and black people, because they felt like they wasn't as good as white people, but they was damn sure is better than Negroes, niggers,
I,
black
I
people.
ain't I ain't one of y'all niggers.
Right, but there was a bunch of them, especially like in the New Orleans area, and they are
Yes.
were rejected from Haiti, and a lot of them they turned into white people. They were called Creoles, and so that's like a J. Edgar Hoover type. He's white, but you can tell that it's probably like a 10th or a 13th, or like an octoroon type of situation. But
Kind of like Elizabeth Warren and
yeah,
her one
well,
sixteenth
like 500
Native American.
stupid.
Her 1/16 of Native American heritage
It's
coursing
not
through
even.
her.
They said
Oh
that
man,
she was 1/512 or something like that. It was just crazy low. So the point is,
like the top lid. Hey, hey, what's that? Like the top lid of her fingernail?
I know that's probably what it was. It was just like an eyelash. So it
You know
was.
what I'm
It was.
saying? Oh my
It was.
goodness. No, but
It was.
go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That chick. This is what they do, though. And that's why and that's why it's so good to know their history, because you can already see it, like, okay, that's what they're trying to do, that's what they're signaling. But if we don't know that history, we just fall right into it, like, oh, okay, yeah, oh, see, oh, yeah, oh, see, now they black. No, it's a lot of black white people acting black now. And then when reparations money, $1,000, of $500,000 to whoever, here's land, here's this, here's that, and they got their attorneys, they're equipped, they already know all the details, they know how to access every benefit that's made available. But black folks, because a lot of us don't believe in it, we don't know, we all confused, we all traumatized, we got to have a bureau to help us to understand what we got access to. And we don't believe it because we're sick of getting tricked. And
You
so,
talking about HR 40?
no, I'm talking about a real bureau. Like, if you really get reparations with cash and land available to you, black
Oh
folks
yeah,
will
okay.
not believe it. It will take
Oh
a
yeah,
agent.
yeah.
Yeah, you would have to have an agency to literally go out here and say, hey, black people, this is available. I don't believe in it. There's so many black people, they don't want to. I ain't taking no welfare, dude. It's
Mhm.
whatever you want to do. It's not welfare. We're not. There's no requirement. There's no. You know, the only requirement is your lineage. That's it. Are you
Yeah,
born black? Are you black? Number one, and are you born a descendant? That's your requirement. I don't care how rich you are. It's not about your disparities and all that weird stuff they're talking about. This is what it is. And so the point I'm making is that those resources are, we're getting to that point. You're not going to freedom fight forever and survive all these death plots, and God not get you to the goal.
yeah,
All the
yeah.
and humiliation that we've endured. You know how much humiliation for centuries, and how much we've endured, man. We
I'm,
endured a lot of stuff.
yes, yeah. I mean, I'm very familiar with it. Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, and you know, how much these people are. They are literally on the planet Earth. They are the most experienced genocidal uh, people in history on the planet. They have genocided so many nations of people. It's crazy when you start looking at history. Whole entire islands of people gone.
So,
Entire
hey,
tribes
and
gone.
I,
Animals
speaking of
gone.
look, speaking of islands. Okay, so when you were talking about Henry Louis Gates, there was a program on locally GP, the public television here in Georgia, and
Uh-huh.
I forgot what the people were called, but they were off the coast of Virginia and on an island, and all the people there called themselves white
Hmm.
because their mindset had been corrupted, for lack of a better term. But
Right.
they weren't white; they were actually black. But because of the era of time they were living in, it was more acceptable to be white. even though
Exactly.
they look none of the parts. And
Yeah.
when it comes to Hoover, he yeah, he hated King. He and let's just be 100 right here. Not that we haven't been up to this point, but particularly concerning what he said about King cheating on Coretta.
Mm.
I mean, do we need to talk about Bill Clinton
Right.
or
Come on.
or JFK?
Exactly.
I mean,
They all did
so
that. These people was he and him. What was he doing?
wearing women's underwear.
And doing it to dudes.
Yeah,
That's how disgusting this man is.
yeah. I
And
mean, he would fit in. He would fit right in today in government. He would be the new. He would be the Pete Buttigieg running the FBI.
yeah, he would be just like Hillary Clinton and those what are those
uh,
Patero
uh, uh, uh,
that those
Podesta, the
Podesta.
Podestas,
Yeah, they sit
or
up here eating children and drinking blood and weirdo sick crap, nasty
or
stuff.
or or he would be Dr. Richard Rachel Levine
See,
or Sam Britton. I mean, dude, this.
but
Whew,
this is temperament. But I'm saying like it's like this here. This is the time though, like I said before. God don't bring you through all this stuff and not allow you to be destroyed and genocided. To not, when you're right there at that time when you're actually going to start getting some of this promise. That first generation, of course, we don't believe it because look how much disappointment we had before. But we start seeing these. Let me see if I can find it. I'll try to find some because it's just showing how these people, it's so disgusting, man. They can't stand us having anything. It's not
but
about it. It's not about it coming out their pocket. It's just they don't want
oh
us to
no,
have it.
oh no, no, but they ready to send hundreds of billions of dollars to the European Israel, Ukraine,
Exactly.
doing it. Or
Not
weekly, daily, however you want to pick. Not to mention the money that's already going to the current modern state of Israel.
straight up Nazi.
Yeah,
Let's see.
yes. And I mean, as far as look for
And then
anybody out
they
there
say
hearing this,
Nazis are bad, but Jewish, what they call it, Israel is the one supporting that.
yes, yes, yes. That's
But they
called
told us
irony,
that
folks.
Nazis is bad.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they told us. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just like you gotta be. This is what these people, and that's why I said you gotta look at what they're doing because they're, it's that see they can say anything, but their actions show you their strategy.
Oh yeah, you definitely have to be aware of the playbook. That's why
Yeah,
just going off what Hoover said to say, well, you know what, I'm gonna look at King a little differently. That's not the route.
let
That's
me
not
let
the
me
route.
play this real quick. Let me play this real quick a little bit. I just wanted
Uh,
just to hear just Tyreek. Tyreek and Sheed. He be talking to people, and so he calls into these California now here in California. I don't know if you heard it, but here in California they have this these weird. I mean, to me, I ain't gonna lie, the policy seems real weird to me. But in San Francisco, they want to try to do $5 million per longtime black San Francisco residents as reparations. Uh, Seems like a lot now to me because but I mean,
you know
okay,
what? It's like they're trying to. It's like it really comes across like they're trying to keep it from the federal level by doing all these state measures to semi-address reparations, whether it's Chicago, what you just mentioned, north. I think it's either maybe south of there, with the beach that was given to a family, and then they got to turn around and sell it back for 20 million, and that ain't
Yeah, for the
even market value really.
yeah, but the thing is, what's happening here, I think, is they are see black folks. Sometimes we don't understand how important we are, and I mean it's no surprise because we're always told, "Oh, they ain't thinking about y'all." All of this stuff has been because of us being here. I mean, literally, the policy of this nation has been changed almost every generation based on what they want to do with us. From slavery
Yes.
all the way to when you got free to your Freedmen's Act, the laws that was passed, the type of all this kind of stuff. Every generation, there's been different policy changes because we got to do this so they can't get it. We got to craft it in a way where they won't get it, or that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So
they playing keep
mhm,
away.
exactly. So you get
They playing
so
keep away.
now
Yeah.
so now here you go. Now if they can't really do that no more, like they're gonna get something, but they want us to forget about real reparations. But they're like, okay, they're not gonna forget about it, and they're not really letting us tell them what to do right now because they're stonewalling us with this reparations talk. We got to give them something, and then they try to give us this. That don't work. They lose again. Damn. And then they try to give us a little something here with HR 40. Damn, that ain't work. Yeah, shit. Okay, well let's see if we can kill some of them. Take the shot. Damn, enough of them didn't
Yeah.
die. Okay, what we gonna do this?
They
Damn, keep
hey,
killing.
they running out of stiff arms.
Right. They're like, oh, we letting these Mexicans in, but these Mexicans crazy too. Shit, we can't. What we gonna do?
But
Okay.
but but they would rather see them with it. They rather see anybody else with it
Well, the thing is though,
than
there's some that they do, but you gotta realize that right there also is producing an argument within them. There's some of them that do, but there's a argument. See, that's why they're arguing with each other, which creates opportunities for us. That's why you see the southern border states sending immigrants up to the northern cities, up to DC, up to different spots and shit. So they like, this ain't really working because we're arguing. They don't want their own group to debate to fracture too much because if they fracture, it's over for them, which is pretty much over for them anyway. But but just check this out. So I want to hear. So Tariq Nasheed calls and all these white women, and there's some Mexicans here too. You can tell, but
because it's the right thing to do and justice always prevails. When we get our reparations, that's going to boost the economy because locked in and maldistributed into the dominant society. And we
objection.
So who's next?
I believe it's Tariq and then Nico.
Okay, go ahead, Tariq.
How's everybody doing? I'm hearing a lot of different adversarial retorts about reparations, and reparations is not as difficult as many people try to make it seem. Reparations is very simple. It's for the foundational Black Americans, the descendants of the people who built the country from scratch and they were never compensated. Our ancestors created all of the wealth for the country, and that country has been locked in and maldistributed into the dominant society, and we've been locked out of it. And that money has compounded. There was a gentleman who called up earlier saying that after a few generations, generational wealth disappears. That's absolutely not true. After a few generations, that money compounds and it becomes stronger and it becomes bigger. We've been inheriting a debt as foundational Black Americans because we have never, ever, ever been compensated specifically for the wrongs that were done to us. And it's time to get that compensation now. Reparations is a strong topic now because we've tried to play the game where we're going to be polite. We're going to try to play the kumbaya game. And unfortunately, the dominant society has made it a part of the culture to practice anti-Black racism as a part of a culture. So instead of us trying to keep playing nice and play the kumbaya game, we're saying we just need to be compensated so we can do our thing. We need to do the right thing people say we need to move on. We cannot move on with an inherited debt, and we're still suffering from that debt. So it's only a problem when foundational Black Americans are talking about being compensated for the wrongs that were done to them. When the Asian community, when they got reparations, nobody complained. The Native American community, they get reparations times 10. If you look at government grant programs and government grant websites, there's so many programs and set aside funds earmarked specifically.
So he laid it out for them. Let me fast forward to where they started complaining. Now he kept it real professional,
He did.
and they were professional. They were all nice. Now these supposed to be a bunch of California liberals, but they start trying to get it. They came up with a reason not to like him. And since they
Well,
didn't
of
like
course.
him, and since they didn't like him, that's the end of the whole. Everybody can't get it.
I mean, you know what was one of the things that was interesting about what he said though about people not complaining when Native Americans got it or Asians, and before that he said, well, they want us to just move on. Well,
Yeah,
there's a particular group that has a mantra that is 180 degrees of that.
never forget.
N- You snatched the words right out my mouth, Mike. You knew where I was going. Never forget. We can never forget that it's 6 million when one of their own said 400,000, and he mysteriously died in a terrorist attack.
Right.
But when it comes to ours, we certainly can never forget when we look in the mirror. When we see currently that they manipulate what is immutable to us onto a mutable lifestyle that people walk away from. As hard as that may be to believe for some, yes, people walk away from that. People are detransitioning.
That's right.
But being Black never, it doesn't change until the Lord comes and calls you out their body, because then there's no color. But while
Right.
we are here and we're dealing in a reality where they manipulate some of us who refuse to see that manipulation, among other manipulations, I mean, it's frustrating to to be calm, to try and use a calm word, and that's not calm. But bro,
Well, God gives everybody a different sort of energy, and it's all necessary. Some people don't have that spirit to be calm. Some people can do that, but the point is, some people try to go along and get along and try to get along with them, and maybe they'll be treated better than the others. And people have all these different defense mechanisms based on the fact that you're living under a situation where somebody's trying to murder you all, and and that's just the bottom line. These people are
look,
trying to murder you, and then when you don't sit up here and die nicely, you know they sit up here and come up with all these different experiments, try to get rid of your whole entire population. Do you know how many decades and centuries these people have been trying to genocide us off? This is something,
Tuskegee experiment,
you know.
Greenwood, or Oscarville. I
I
mean,
mean, that's what
it's
you
damn
really
near endless list.
exactly. And you damn not y'all ain't dead yet. Damn.
Hey, I mean, you know the old saying: if a nuclear attack ever happened, the only thing that's gonna be left is niggers and roaches. So, you know, maybe that's what they're afraid of. I don't know, bro. It's
Well, they
perplexing.
they
Yet,
scared to blow themselves up with the nuclear attack because they like, what if they survive though? Damn. We don't know. We won't be able to tell if they survive. We're gonna leave them a messed up planet. But the planet is healing. The ozone layer is healing.
Man, the ozone layer Hitler was it ever damaged? You know, when the lockdown started, the smog over LA disappeared in a month.
See?
But we got people running around here talking about climate change and heart attacks cause climate change. Oh,
Oh
how about have you heard this one? We are more what's the we are more disproportionately affected. I hate those two words. We are more disproportionately affected by climate change
no.
than anybody else. So now the climate is racist. I mean, bro, it's just
I mean,
we
they but guess what? They got a lot of black folks truly believing that because you're black, everything is worse for you. They raised them believing that. And so let's
yeah.
listen to these people. Let's listen to them though. This is supposed to be California. Let's see.
Gets by thinking
Hold on.
about us being
Scratch.
built from scratch.
Like we explained.
Oh
What
yeah,
do you mean?
For the space, what do you mean by foundational?
black.
Yes, thank
Yes,
you.
Black Americans. That means a Black person who is a non-immigrant. We don't use the term African American because that makes us equal to immigrants, and we did not immigrate from Africa. Foundational Black American is a Black American whose ancestors were the foundation of America. We didn't come to America. We built America. We're the only group who actually built it from scratch. So that makes us foundational Black Americans.
Okay, thanks.
What
for
do you mean?
saying-
What do you mean by built from scratch?
Built from scratch.
Like we explained.
Oh yeah,
What do you mean from scratch?
that means there was no country, there was no United States until Black people built it.
Well, I would have to push back there because Black people did not build this country on their own. That's just not historically accurate.
Right, we did.
And
But
and also,
She drunk.
my other point, if I may, is that very few people that I know in my life have any generational wealth. I have no generational wealth. My best friend has no generational wealth. So
Now, see how she turned the conversation about her and her best friend?
Yeah, she drunk.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
but the point is, you see, this is what they really feel. So I'm gonna go to another one.
and I don't think
yeah. No, I mean, look
choices.
look at what she said when she spoke about black people didn't build America. Well, if you have a country that starts out with free labor
Right.
and all you do is the minimum in housing and shelter.
Right.
Was,
So
I mean, you know what? I tell you what. Give me some slaves and see how I look in 20 years.
now look. Here it is. In 1776. Hold on. Okay, wait. That's the American Revolution. That's what they say, right? Then you say
Yup.
they say 1619, or let's say they say 1607 is when Jamestown got here and they made love to Pocahontas and tricked her out of her panties and in
Not,
them or her moccasins or whatever and stole
yeah.
her and gave her gonorrhea and she died of
And
horrible
some mirrors.
right. So they from 1607 to 1776 is how many years?
So well over 100, well over 150.
Exactly. Yeah, 170. Well, it's 159 years, I think it is, or it's 169 years. Let's see. Let's do it right. 1607, 100 years, 1707, and then 70 years is So
Yeah.
there's 169, 169 years from when they first got here. Now 169 years, 1619, 159 years. That's when y'all admit y'all had slavery before this country was here as a country.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
Before the Constitution, they was getting all this free labor, no law, nothing. Except for what the kings say, but they would have you believe now that that Americans then even though it wasn't called America. The king made us accept slavery. I mean, what happened to? I mean, you can say no, can't you?
No,
And
but
so and some did, but not on the level that stopped this country from being built by free labor.
the thing
Straight
is, they
up.
didn't do it. See, that's the part of the history that's not taught. They came over the Spanish came over in 1526. They had other colonies that tried to come over without slaves. They couldn't build nothing by themselves until they start bringing over and start enslaving. They enslaved the Native Americans, which were black people.
Yeah, and I was about to hit that next. That when they showed up, we was here.
Right, we was black folks. Yeah, we was black when they got here, because But the thing
But the
is, go ahead.
but but the same the parts of them that hate us so much will go right out there in the sun and lay down for hours. Uh, they take a fictional character Ariel and make her a black girl, and it's all this outrage about it. But I mean, when y'all gonna remake Cleopatra with an actual black woman? You see what I'm saying? I mean, it's like
Not about them doing it because they don't want to, but the point is, the thing is that the point is, it's like that's what they're mad about because we're pretty much done with the integration game. We don't really care about what they do. We just want to get paid and we'll do it ourselves. That's kind of where a lot of people are on. We're kind of not into the integration situation much more. So I just want to play some more of this here. Let's listen to some more. It's the one part I hope I get to on here.
man, let it rip, man. I'm about to get back in here and go to work.
Okay, go ahead. Do you think, bro?
Well, that historically, that's not
All
correct. Over here
All right, peace.
in the early colonies, they absolutely made it color-based, and they were very explicit about slavery being color-based. And the white people who were indentured servants, they would be able to work out a contract, and they said that the black people or the Moors would have to be enslaved for life. So they absolutely made it on a color basis, and they codified it by saying that the children of black women will be enslaved. So it was explicitly based on color. In this country, when black people were trying to get out of slavery, and even when we were free, there were still black codes and there were still laws that would keep us in a detrimented situation. So all of it was about race. And
But thank you for sharing. Not really comfortable with they will pay kind of thing, because I don't know what that's about. Like, I'm not down with that. But anyway, but I appreciate.
So before we go to the next person, can I just jump in? Because I want to just kind of, there's 386 people listening to this space, a lot of folks who came in when we shifted the topic to reparations in San Francisco. This has been an incredible space. It's been very respectful. All of the speakers, I think, have been very respectful. And whenever I get the chance to co-host a space with Phenomenology, we really do try to make.
All right. So the point that I was making by playing that though, is just showing you that they're stonewalling. There's money starting to form, and the money is going to be accessed to black people. A lot of white people don't like this.
I grew up in a foundational black neighborhood, all the way for the first 13 years of my life. And so I did want to.
All right. So, I think that's it for that one. But I did want to show how Martin Luther King said, they're breaking the back of this country because they're not giving us what's deserved. So let's see if we can do this. I don't know if we can see this.
Right there at the White House, we do have breaking news on the debt limit. Kayla, what do we know?
Well, Scott, Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen just wrote a letter to leaders in Congress saying that beginning next Thursday, January 19th, the United States will be reaching its statutory debt limit of just more than $31 trillion, at which point it will have to start taking what it calls extraordinary measures to conserve capital at the federal governmental level to avoid a default on debt. To do that, Treasury is going to be withholding some investments from retirement funds for postal service workers as well as other federal government employees. And Secretary Yellen says that as soon as any such deal on the debt ceiling is reached, that those investment accounts will be made whole. A senior administration official tells me that the White House believes that negotiations on a potential debt ceiling deal would begin in earnest after the tax season deadline in mid-April, at which point Treasury will know exactly what tax receipts have come in, what revenue looks like, and exactly how much time will be left on the clock, at which point they'll be able to begin negotiations with Republicans in Congress about exactly how a deal could come together. Secretary Yellen says that the U.S. will be able to maintain these extraordinary measures until about early June. We'll see how that goalpost moves in the coming months.
Right there at the.
So that tells me that what Martin Luther King predicted, he said,
God has a way of standing before the nations with judgment, and it seems God saying to America, you're too arrogant. If you don't change your ways, I will rise up and break the backbone of your power, and I'll place it in the hands of a nation that doesn't even know my name. Be still and know that I'm God.
that's right. And God is breaking the back of this nation because they're too arrogant. And I want to show just a few parts of this. Like I said, Martin Luther King is very important. Very important. Not going to take J. Edgar Hoover over Martin Luther King. Just can't do it. It's not smart for our agenda. And it's just not true. You know, it's not true. Let's see if I can get to this part before we get out of here. Let's see if I can do this in 5 minutes. Now, just showing the people who supposedly used to like Martin Luther King. This guy, what's this guy's name? Murray Friedman. The Broken Alliance, The Turbulent Times Between Blacks and Jews in America by Jonathan Kaufman. A great deal has been written on Black-Jewish relations, but perhaps surprisingly, we still do not have a really good what? A really good history of the topic, really. It seems that for historians, the better part of wisdom has been either to let this emotion, if it's emotional laden, it's not a good history. It shouldn't be that emotional. Well, we know the secret relationship between blacks and Jews have let it be known. And every chance these folks get, these folks want to dictate. So we don't need that. Also, we want to show this. All right. Did Martin Luther King believe criticizing Zionists is anti-Semitic? When people criticize Zionists, they mean Jews. You are talking anti-Semitic. And they take these little quick quotes. Over the years, Martin Luther King's sympathetic view of Israel has been enthusiastically exploited by Zionists. If you want to defend a racist state based on the dispossession and continued systematic oppression of Palestinian people, it's only obviously helpful to be able to cite the support of a noted anti-racist. So they know Martin Luther King is anti-racist. That's the foundation. And that's what we're standing on. So we don't want to undermine Martin Luther King, because then you're undermining, you're supporting racism. Okay. And so I don't want to go too much into that, because we want to just hit these points real quick, since we did have a conversation earlier. And I just wanted to document this for everybody. And we want to make sure that, push back. Don't let people just come at smearing Martin Luther King. That's weirdo. It's irresponsible for a historian to cache such FBI sources, which can be deeply unreliable as fact. Jean Theo Harris, a professor of political science in Brooklyn College and the author of a biography of Rosa Parks, said, "Most scholars I know would penalize their graduate students for doing this." Right? And just because, on a side note, Egyptians were black. There you go. If you think this hair braid, this is a 3,000-year-old mummy in Egypt. So, Kevin Hart, you were right. Let it be known. And I think that's pretty much all I'm going to do. Let me know what you guys think about this. If you're hearing this, let it be known. Let's see what you guys think. Peace out.